524. We're live. Today, we're going to go back to some of our roots. Don't worry, I didn't forget you. And every once in a while, people send me a subject to deal. And for those of you that don't know what a sub to deal is, subject to is when you are buying a property, but you are taking over the payments on the underlying loan. So you are still owning the property, but you're not going out to take a loan just to pay off the existing loan because who makes the most money in that scenario? It's the banks, right? Again, today is not investment advice, it's not legal advice. I'm not soliciting any investments on this call. Just showing you all how to save your time and be able to quickly rule out a deal as soon as possible. So today I got sent a deal, and let's see if I can pull this up. This property is in here. Let me close. I just I don't get the loop. Here we go. Why is it just loops here? I can't mute myself. All right, so this property is in 2510 Widgeon Drive, Clarksville, Tennessee. Purchase price 328, interest rate 60%, a total monthly payment of 2280. Now this is an entry fee of $20,000, so that's not bad, right? It's less than 10% of the purchase price. But if your goal is to cash flow and you want to quickly realize whether this property is worth your time, which means, hey, is it worth my time to send somebody out there to take pictures for me? Is it worth my time to send a contract out there to give me a bid for a job? That's something for you to decide. Okay, this is a three-bed, three-bath, 10,692 to the seller, $10,000 to the finder. So principal payment 2283, long-term rental is 2030. So right there and there, I can probably tell you that's not going to cash flow because that number, even though it's a wholesaler who's incentivized to present the deal with the best numbers as possible, also gives you numbers that says they want cash flow. That's before any expenses. But let's go ahead and show you why it is not cash flow. So for me, if I go to affordablehousing.com and I go to the owner section and I go to the market rent estimator, plug in the average, plug in the bedroom count, I can see that right here for 25 units within a zero point 0.9 mile radius, the average rent is 1868, 1868. That tells me that's already below the total monthly payment of 2280. So I know right away it's not going to be in cash flow. But what I'm also going to do is I'm going to look up what the rent is for a four bedroom just in case there's any sort of room. Let's see. See that changes. Give it 1 second. While that's loading, I'm gonna go 2053. So even as a four bedroom, it's still not gonna cash flow. So right then and there, I can say, hey, let me rule out this deal right away because it's just not worth my time. So if I want to go and look up, all right, let's see what I can do for this property. Let's put in some of these numbers. So right away, I already know it's not gonna cash flow. But for you to see how it actually comes out in numbers, let's plug in the numbers. 328, 328,000 for the asking price. Your mortgage detail is going to be right here at the bottom. Let me plug in these details first. 10692 for the entry fee, 10692 for the cash to seller, $10,000 for the assignment fee, 2.5 point times the asking price of B4. That's 8,200. No other renovations. I looked at the photos for this property, and I would say it has pretty much been relatively turnkey for this property. Yeah, this is pretty much turnkey. I would not try to figure out the renovations because it's relatively turnkey. So I'm going to leave this as just a little bit of budget here. So I'll set aside maybe turn three toilets into high pressure flush toilets in row 132 because I don't want to deal with clogged toilet calls. I'm going to zero out the painting here for row 86 because I'm assuming it's all painted, all ready to go. I got $5 for some landscaping, keep it tidy, and $1,500 for the roof. So that gives me a total rehab of 4 grand. At 1868, which is the rent for a three bedroom, right? I am going to get my loan details right here from this email that I got. So 307, whoops, 307, 308 is the principal amount. 307, 308, 6% interest rate. This started in 3/1/23 because that was 30 years before 2053. So if I know my total monthly payment, including tax and insurance, is 2280, I can go to B28, 2280, subtract the principal and interest portion of the subject to loan. That gives me 437.53. I'll add another $30 for monthly insurance because I'm assuming when I buy this property for an investment, I'm going to be charged more for my insurance premium because it's going to be an investment property. So I'll add about 30 bucks there. I have 10% for my maintenance, 10% for my property management, and then 5% for my vacancy. So after all is said and done, after all my expenses, right, you got to set aside money for maintenance because you know that the roof is going to get replaced in 10, 15, 20 years. Same thing for your HVAC, same thing for your water heater. If you don't put aside this money right now, you're going to be underestimating your expenses and overestimating your profitability, thinking you were making all this extra money when in fact you're not. So don't be a fool. All right. So at 909, so at 1868, you'd be losing not just the delta between 2280 and 1868, but after all your expenses, you'd be losing $909 every single month. So just be very wary, be very aware that your net cash flow is not your monthly payment minus your rent or your monthly rent minus your payment. Right? Some people forget about expenses and it's so silly. Just don't be that person. All right. So hopefully this was helpful, everybody. I know I haven't done the deal for a while, but I didn't forget about you. I'm going to keep the content going, but I'm going to sprinkle in an underwriting every once in a while, and hopefully this continues to be helpful. All right. If you want to go to get a copy of the spreadsheet that we worked on today, go to affordablehousing.io, go to the Get Deal Analysis tool, plug in your name, email your phone number. That's the fastest way you get a copy of the spreadsheet. And then afterwards, what I want you to do is check out our latest podcast on youtube.com/at cat underscore HE. You can look at the latest podcast I just released today with Amber Little. I mean, she has helped developers get over 50 million, 50 in funding. She started helping folks that were former firefighters, former teachers, people that were getting disability from Social Security and get used the back pay during the Great Recession to go buy homes and change their families' lives forever. And now she's helping other developers think about, hey, how do we solve for this homeless problem? What kind of services do we need? How do we organize the complex so that the property managers to live on site feel safe? Right? All these things matter. And had you got someone involved like Amber from the beginning, then you can also apply your own intellectual capital towards your future projects. All right. Again, hopefully this was helpful. I appreciate you all for tuning in today. Have a wonderful Thursday. Spend quality time with your family and friends today. That's what life is all about. All right. I'll see you all tomorrow for day 525. Have a good one, everybody.